News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
So we talked the other day about the big walkout at Hachette Book Group over Woody Allen's memoir.
Hatchet, right?
I think it's Hachette.
Oh, it's not Hachette?
Yeah, it's spelled Hatchet with a CH, but I think it's pronounced Hachette as per the KFI news editors.
Oh, I just thought that was a whiskey song.
So they dropped Woody Allen's memoir.
That's so I thought there were Hatchet,
which would
and
be
then I
perfect.
thought about a hatchet job, like a bad, like ironically named Hatchet.
Yeah, no, it's Hachette, apparently. In a statement on Friday, the publisher said they made the difficult decision to cancel apropos of nothing, that's the name of the book, after the company's leadership had extensive conversations with staff and others. Thursday's walkout included employees from Imprint's Little Brown and Company that they produced Catch and Kill, the Ronan Farrow's book. That's who published it. I should have drank less whiskey. We're just going to put this right
here.
I'm moving it away from you physically. I'll pick it up on a pro here.
So Dylan Farrow, who claims Allen molested her as a child, tweeted that she's in awe and so very grateful that Hachette won't be publishing the book.
I like the New World Order, Dan, where the guy who's in the corner office and who owns the building has to go take a shit, and someone goes, "Did you check with the temp yet?"
Yeah.
Huh? You got to go down and clear it with the Kelly girl. Like, you understand, you can't take a dump unless you ask everyone in this building under the age of 20 whether it's okay for you to take a shit or not.
That's right.
Because otherwise you're going to agitate them.
Well, Stephen King chimed in on this. I saw that, and Stephen King was pissed, and I feel the same way. You don't have to like Woody Allen, but I don't know if people understand just how ominous this is. If we're going to just silence people, right? I'm not saying Woody Allen's not a bad guy. I don't know what happened, right? But to silence him because, I'm triggered by get the fuck. Excuse my language.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It scares me. It scares me, and as somebody who writes for a living, it scares me to think what's coming next. Because if I'm sure you could go back and look at stuff I've written back in the past and go, maybe we should shut him up. He talked about having sex with somebody on a press trip.
Well, this is what Stephen King said. The Hachette decision to drop the Woody Allen book makes me very uneasy. It's not him. I don't give a damn about Mr. Allen. It's who gets muzzled next that worries me.
Exactly.
But this is interesting because what was the last thing that Stephen King chimed in on that then backpedaled big time? And this was in the last month or two. So
didn't he have
do that again?
Didn't Miles Teller run him over when he was walking in Massachusetts or something? Didn't he get hit by Teller?
Yeah, I think that was
am I combining two incidents?
No, I
thought he was
shooting
a movie, so he rolled his car.
Chris, I'm sorry. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but he came out and made some grand statement and then completely, was it Me Too related?
It was the diversity issue.
And people didn't much care for what he had to say, and then he wrote something akin to an apology. So maybe he's kind of feeling agitated about that.
I don't know. We have a due process, and we can now do whatever we want with Weinstein because he's now a convicted rapist. The innuendo and the tales told and the non-disclosure agreements and things like that. That's not really tantamount to a conviction. You know what I mean? We have convictions, and then we have shit that people said you did when you were in high school who want to remain anonymous.
Public opinion conviction.
We can't really go off that. That's not really a science. At least there's a piece of paper that convicted you of something. And so we need to kind of focus on that, because the part where people don't like you and there's things and people talk and there's mentions but there's no convictions, that means we're all kind of open to it. That means anybody you don't like who wants to run for something or do something or publish something is open to it. And, my feeling is let the free market vote. Let them vote. If this guy's a piece of shit and no one wants to read his book and no one wants to support him, good. Put the book out. Don't buy
see what happens.
Well, you don't have to boycott them putting the book out. You can boycott when the book comes out. Don't buy any. I disagree with this person. I don't want to support them in any way.
Speaking of free market, if you have a true philosophical or ethical problem with your company that you work for publishing that book, you're free to quit.
Right.
You don't want. You shouldn't want to be associated with that company.
Right.
Well, and there's also this idea that, and it's very unpopular to say it, but it is possible that someone could say something that's not true. I get it. If you suggest that because they have an axe to grind, because they want to, I thought about like the whole thing with Al Franken. Okay. When that all came out and it was like, oh, he did this. I'm like, she might have you see her politics. She's a regular, like maybe she's trying to do so. And it worked. He was out of this. He was a senator and now he's no longer a senator. And now they're all going, oh, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. Al's a good guy, all this. But who's to say that doesn't happen more often than we think? It's like, if I just say this one thing, it's over for him.
And there was really no precedent then. Would Al have made the cut if it happened after Harvey Weinstein allegations?
No, he would be still a senator right now. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, and I'm not saying that this doesn't happen, that women all the time, and it's not a horrible thing. But what I am saying is it is conceivable that someone could say something that might not be true in order to torpedo somebody else for whatever reasons, things that we don't know about. But if you suggest that,
well,
I'm in trouble.
You're no longer invited on the show.
I'm in trouble now.
You take a look at the picture on the cargo plane. Like, she's asleep. She's wearing a flak jacket. He's pretending to put his hand on her boobies, but he can't touch her. If he touches her, she's going to wake up with her. Yeah. Well, but either way, when you're fucking around with someone, they're asleep, you can't make contact with them, because if you do, she'll just awaken to see Al Franken standing there with his hands on her breast. So she's wearing, undershirt, shirt, flak jacket, and he's got his hands, which look like he's putting them on there on the flak jacket. But if he's touching it, he has to be barely making contact with it, and he's doing a thing that comedians would do.
Yeah.
All day, every day, and he's mugging at the camera. You can say, hey, I don't appreciate that. Now, I laugh everything off, but this is not grounds for dismissal. Sure. All we now have is a physical manifestation to go along with allegations of he was at the county fair and he
grabbed my
that
ass.
gal.
Yeah,
whatever. This is not a direction we want to go as a country. No. And we should, Woody should do his book, and then we should not buy his book.
Maybe he'll
if we don't like
self-publish
it.
Would anybody here buy Woody Allen's book? I wouldn't.
No.
I'm just not interested.
Yeah, it wouldn't occur to me to.
Yeah, it would occur.
Yeah.
I'd do it on cassette. I'd go old school. Yeah, I want a whole bank of those things.
And just because we were talking about Stephen King, Chris found the other tweets from, this was recent. Yeah, it's from mid-January. He said, the first one, I would never consider diversity in matters of art, only quality. It seems to me that to do otherwise would be wrong.
100% correct.
Then later that day? Is that what I'm looking at? Yeah. The most important thing we can do as artists and creative people is to make sure everyone has the same fair shot, regardless of sex, color, or orientation. Right now, such people are badly underrepresented, and not only in the arts. So he got some quick flack, I guess, and felt he needed to make a new statement.
Course correction.
Yeah.
My take is certain groups are attracted to certain things. We're talking about Chinese and gambling. Take certain games. They don't attract certain groups. You know what I mean? They attract this group. And other games attract other groups. And then there's some sort of 21 kind of universal ones.
Mahjong attracts Jews.
Yeah, my thing is like, I feel like classical music attracts this group and rap attracts that group. And you can look no further than sports and breaking them up. And I just think that's fine with me. Like, I don't care if more are attracted. And also, I don't feel like we need to interject everything. Like, I don't know, like, right now, all the people who are conducting classical, they're a bunch of old white guys. We need to get some new, young people of color blood into this thing. It's like, oh, no, we don't. They can do whatever they are attracted to. It's weird. But I feel the same way about the police force and the fire department. Like, whoever wants to be a fireman, be a fucking fireman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's weird, especially with the arts. Okay.
LeBron James has some thoughts about the idea of playing to an empty arena to try and control outbreaks and things like that. A lot of, I think Italy is doing that.
Hey, let me say this about LeBron. And now there's something called third-hand smoke now. And then every time I turn on the TV, there's a commercial about talcum powder and women poisoning their vagina with talcum powder. What's that move where he makes it rain with all the talcum, with all the elderly people sitting in the front row?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Talking mesothelioma.
Yeah, if you're the voice of the Lakers and LeBron cuts right in front of your microphone there, and it's like, pow! with the poof and the Houdini, you're sucking that stuff in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big cloud of talcum. Yeah. What is those lawsuits? There's lawsuits.
Yeah, they've won.
Go do it by the visitor's bench.
Right. What's with the talcum? And also, I don't know, how does that really help you?
Are you still rocking the talcum?
That's your move.
Yeah.
But that's a victimless crime. It's
that's
not doing
right.
to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
giving yourself cervical cancer.
The NBA is, thinking about instituting a similar policy as in Europe, banning crowds from attending games just for the time being. Here's what LeBron thinks about it.
No, it's impossible. I ain't playing. I ain't got the fans in the crowd. That's what I play for. I play for my teammates. I play for the fans. That's what it's all about. So if I show up to an arena and ain't no fans in there, I ain't playing. So they can do what they want to do.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.
The NBA could close games to ticket holders as a measure to thwart virus outbreaks. Attendance would be restricted to essential staff only, no media, no cheer squads, no crowds for the time being. But what do we like that or do we not like that? Is that wildly narcissistic to say I can't do my job unless people are cheering?
No.
Hold on.
It's hard.
I gotta get that drop.
Okay. And this isn't going to end up...
Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
When Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, he beat him in Tokyo, I believe. They're very superstitious over there. And he beat him in Tokyo. And if you watch that fight, if that thing's in Atlantic City or Vegas, people are going insane when he knocks out Mike Tyson. I mean, they're going nuts because he was 50-1 underdog. I mean, that was the biggest.
It's inconceivable that he would win that fight.
It's inconceivable. Yeah. Tokyo, 1990. That thing, statistically, probably less than Miracle on Ice or more. Statistically, maybe the Americans had a 33-1 chance. He was like 50-1. It was silent in the arena because the Japanese don't stand up and start screaming and throwing beer and going nuts like we would do. Right. Like if you picture that front row of a heavyweight fight in Vegas, and you got a lot of people that make a lot of noise. And now you got Tokyo, 1990, no one says. So you're seeing this amazing upset. You're seeing Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson, like really beating him in this silent environment.
Yeah, it's probably creepy.
It bumps you.
I'm sure it does, but it's equal. It's not like they're only cheering for one guy. I mean, I can see how a comedian, you can't play to an empty theater,
right.
But you are playing.
Every comedian has,
of
right?
course.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't play to you, but both of you, you're doing your job. You're playing each other, and to say I won't play unless people are cheering me on just seems a little. I don't know.
Well, he screwed it up because he's like, I play for my teammates.
Well,
like,
they're there.
They're the ones passing you the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
it's dumb.
We'll see.
He shouldn't. He should play. Look,
I tune in to watch that.
He should play because he's getting paid to play. Like that's his job.
Right.
It doesn't really matter who shows up. But also, let's not do that, NBA.
Also, you play for the fans. What percentage of Lakers fans do you think are in the arena for a given Lakers game?
Less
versus
than 50%.
Watching the game on TV or catching highlights later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe take that into consideration. Well, I'm sure you know this, Adam, because I found it on TMZ. But after TMZ reported that Harvey Weinstein was getting special treatment in jail, he got new cellmates. He was all alone for a while. The gossip blog said on Friday that the convict has been being kept isolated and under 24-hour-a-day watch with an entire floor at Rikers Island, like a 30-bed infirmary, and he's the only guy in there. Prison officials were allegedly concerned about him hurting himself.
He fell and hit his head.
He did. But on Sunday, TMZ reported that Weinstein was in a cell with two other prisoners and that he fell, hit his head, got a little bit of a concussion. The movie producer was transferred, as we know, from Bellevue to Rikers. And TMZ sources say a 24-hour security system is in place to monitor every one of his moves, which includes, surveillance cameras, frequent check-ins by guards. At night, he's moved to a cell with these two other dudes, and he's sentencing. It's set for Wednesday. He faces 29 years, but how did he get that concussion? How did he fall?
He tried walking without his walker.
Oh, yeah.
Who told you that?
Dangerous.
I keep my fucking ears peeled, baby.
I don't know. Did one of the cellmates try to help him up.
Well, that's what they
special
said.
treatment. Yeah. You got
Well,
some,
he had a cellmate, or did he go into the infirmary with this mates?
Well, it says the infirmary was 30 beds. He was the only one in there. And then at night, he moves to a cell with 2 dudes.
Oh, see, I had heard that he was in a cell alone, went to the infirmary with 2 old dudes in the infirmary. Now, Max Pat has got to check that out. That
That's
makes
what I have on
more,
TMZ.
makes more sense that he would go in the infirmary with 2 dudes and then back to his cell. The 24/7 observation.
I'm sorry. It says at night, he's moved to a cell with 2 other inmates to sleep.
All right. Well,
So
the person,
check on that.
was
person did the news
Epstein Rikers as well?
Yeah, I think
So
he
I think
was.
they're probably very
or was
sensitive.
He Rikers? It was in New York. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think they're very sensitive right now to not wanting to have another high-profile incident at the
Right.
prison. You know, like if something happens to Weinstein,
How's
close down Rikers.
For Weinstein, who was a passionate man by all accounts. Look, all you got in the joint's beating off, right? Like that's all Weinstein's got. That's all he has is sanding the canoe. And back, I just brought that up earlier in the day, and I thought it'd be a good metaphor for beating off. So that's all he's got. How does one do this when you're going 24/7? With the observation, or you just go fuck it, or is there a move where you hang a beach towel out?
can he yell cut at any point when they're filming him? Cut! I'm going to jerk off.
What do we do? How's that work?
I imagine you probably. I would time it for as soon as the guards left and their rounds, because they check in frequently.
Yeah, but for someone who forces people to watch him shower, I
It's a
don't
good
know that
point,
he cares
actually.
about
Yeah, I was
privacy.
gonna say. Plus, as we learned from the trial, a lot of the spank.
How's he time it for the shift change?
Oh, wait, is there any-
As soon as the guy comes around every hour or whatever, 2 hours.
No,
or-
but he's. They're on camera.
There's also
right?
camera.
Is there?
Well, the
You got to
camera you
ignore
know
those.
about.
Any good actor
Yeah,
knows you ignore the camera.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about the camera. Yeah.
Is there enough
Interesting.
whiskey left to purge the image of Harvey Weinstein masturbating? Can you pass me that bottle, please? Jesus.
My cheeks feel very warm.
All right.
I can't be the only one. Jussie Smollett's attempt to get his latest charges dropped have been unsuccessful. According to Page Six, lawyers of the former Empire actor argued in an emergency petition that a judge overstepped his authority and misinterpreted the law when he ordered the appointment of a special prosecutor. But on Friday, the Illinois Supreme Court refused to throw out the charges, which again accused the actor of faking a racist and homophobic attack on himself. Meanwhile, Chicago State Attorney Kim Foxx, who dropped the initial case against Smollett last year, called the alleged bogus hate crime a low-level offense and a prank. So she kind of wants to back out of this.
This is why I think everyone needs a friend, and they need a friend from high school, not a new friend you met when you were successful, like the old guy from the old days. And then you need to bounce off every bad idea with this old friend, because when he then would say, like when Jussie Smollett would say to the old friend, here's what I'm thinking about doing in Chicago. It's the dead of winter. It's 4 a.m. Couple of white dudes in MAGA hats come up. They put a news. The old friend from high school would go, are you fucking high?
Yeah, it's
the
terrible.
worst idea I've ever heard. Like, all he needed was one person to go, you are going to regret doing that. There are surveillance cameras everywhere. This thing where you're like eating a Subway and with a noose around your neck, it's not.
No one's going to buy it.
It's never going to work, and it'll be the worst decision you ever made in your life, and it'll follow you for the rest of your life. Like, he just needed one human being to go, no.
Don't do it.
Like, it's I got these new ostrich cowboy boots, and I'm going to the airport. Like, no, don't leave the house. Just one person just to go.
Yeah.
Probably could have got him to pass on that idea.
Yeah.
With one,
Had he just had that one
just
friend.
that one person that just went, I don't like it.
So he picked the 2 worst guys on the planet, extras on his show that want to break into the business that are his trainers.
You picking guys that are on your payroll,
Right.
to bounce this idea off
Yeah.
of.
Garagos told me they were gay lovers, so it was a hate
that's
crime.
right.
It was a revenge crime.
That was a revenge crime.
possible.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Oh, he just needed one human being to go, this is the worst idea
terrible
you've
idea.
ever had.
Yeah.
And just think about squeezing the trigger on this one idea, what it's done for him cosmically for now and beyond.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's going to make us all feel old, or at least weird? What was the date of the initial one? Was it, November 2019 or 2018? Has it been It's been over a year.
feels
Has
like
it been 2 years?
I would say early 2019 is my guess because it was dead of winter, like you said. Some say January.
But here's the scary part. It could be 2018.
You're 100% right. It would not shock me to find out it was 2018.
I have here that the alleged incident takes place on January 29th, 2019.
Damn, bitch.
A little over a year ago.
January 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that he's out of the presidential race, Mayor Pete Buttigieg has some big plans for Thursday night. Here's a clip.
Because a little birdie told me you might be hosting a late night show.
Yeah, on Thursday, I'm going to be guest hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live. So we're really excited for that, lining up a great slate of guests. Sir Patrick Stewart's coming on. Very excited about that.
Amy Klobuchar, she going to be a guest perhaps?
You know, I'm hoping to catch up with her soon. But
you're going to do monologue and everything.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some funnier minds than mine will be doing some writing for that. But I think it's going to be fun. And, the thing about coming off a presidential campaign is you have been focused on one thing. And one thing only. It's nice to be able to zoom out and just come back at life.
So he says he wants to have some fun before pursuing his next job. He's already set to endorse Joe Biden, which I think Cory Booker and Kamala Harris are doing as well. That's from today.
Yeah, I saw a tweet earlier today that Jimmy was tweeting out to him. And
did you know about this?
No, I mean, I just knew. There's certain things I know and then certain things I don't know, and then this kind of thing I don't care about. But I think he'll do good or well.
He's a very good speaker.
Yeah.
He's got a nice personality to him, I think.
I agree.
I think he'll have a supportive audience.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I was running, we get into these endorsements all the time, but Cory Booker and Kamala Harris turn out to be a total bust. Do you want the bust endorsement? Like, do you want the ones that conked out? Like, I know we're looking for as many endorsements as we can get. Do you want Ted Nugent's endorsement? And you go, well, no, because he's a bad guy. And you go, or that wouldn't go over well.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of like displaying your spoils of victory?
I think so.
And they think, I want to get on
hanging pelts on the wall.
Exactly. And I want to get on the winning team. I could be VP. They want their shot at the next apple.
Well, obviously there was a meeting. I would have liked to have seen that meeting. And it happened right before Super Tuesday where the DNC got together and they said, here's what we're doing, okay? It's Joe time, right?
Yeah.
Because
they're calling it Joe-mentum.
The speed with which everybody got in line.
Yep.
Right? I don't know what happened in that meeting, but they said, here's what we're going to do. Everybody's getting behind Biden right now. And I think it was probably just they were so afraid that Bernie would get the nomination and that they would lose. And so it's like, but it's kind of impressive that they've managed to get everybody in line with the plan, which seems to be to get Biden the nomination.
Yeah.
Whitey Bulger was punished for masturbating in prison.
Oh, no. It's important.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
Yeah, so they gave him solitary confinement for 30 days.
It's not allowed.
That's where you masturbate in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to masturbate in prison?
He gets 30 days of masturbation.
Yeah, he said he was alone with the lights on. He got caught. And they prohibit any sexual activity by inmates. But then I'm reading a few Reddit threads of how other people did it, and you would have agreements with other prisoners that they would turn their back while you went. And then
who's the guard who narcs out the guy gets caught beating off? I'm sorry, I got to walk this back to the main office. I just go.
Oh, Mr. Warden, sir, I saw Mr. Bulger masturbating in his cell. I felt like I told you.
Maybe they saw Silence of the Lambs one too many times.
Yeah.
They were like,
Miggs.
Speaking of that, I'm doing a audiobook for Richard Stanley right now, his second Up on Game book. And this picks up 4 years into his stint in California prison. And in the car that he was with, his race, whatever, his people, one guy got the crap beat out of him because he pulled a Miggs. And it's considered in very poor taste amongst the criminals
to hurl your jizz?
To even expose yourself to them. And he got the crap beat out of him.
And then what about outside of prison and polite companies? That also in a dinner setting.
It's slightly less frowned upon.
Or even at a tasty freeze.
Like they say, nothing beats the streets. if you're stuck in the hole, then.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
I have an audio clip from that book, actually, an advanced clip.
Yeah. Please kill me.
Well, that's powerful stuff.
Wow.
All right, one more.
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Rachel Dratch returned as Debbie Downer on the latest SNL to weigh in on everything from coronavirus to the Me Too movement. She appeared in a wedding reception scene in a full gas mask, then took it off, revealed it was her, proceeded to make everyone uncomfortable, including the guest host, who was Daniel Craig, played a guest at the wedding. And I just thought it'd be fun to play about a minute. It's actually about a minute and a half from the sketch that seemed to be a real crowd pleaser to have Rachel Dratch back as Debbie Downer.
I'm Liz's Aunt Karen, and this is my daughter Mindy.
Yes, and I'm Cousin Hank, and this is Uncle Gary.
And why are you here?
I don't know. I mean, how do you know the happy couple?
Oh, I'm Mark's first cousin, once removed for trespassing.
How about a little drink? Maybe that'll, loosen you up a little?
Oh, I don't want to drink too much. Last time I drank, I was almost Me Too'd.
Oh, that's terrible. Did someone take advantage of you?
Now, why would you delve?
I was on one of those just lunch dates and choked on a crouton. My date had to give me the Heimlich. He clearly thought the bottom of my rib cage was much higher. Hashtag not buying it.
Question. Do we have to stay at our assigned tables?
Yeah, Debbie, why don't you go say hi to the bride and groom?
Oh, okay. Hey, congrats, you guys. This is a really beautiful wedding. I wanted to give you my gift, though. Here, open it. I made a donation in your name to my favorite charity.
Oh, thanks. Oh, a $25 donation to Pounce for a cure. Mm-hmm. A cure for what?
What? No, don't ask that. Don't.
Feline AIDS. It's the #1 killer of domestic cats. Meow, meow.
So people very happy to have Debbie revealed in the wedding scene.
She does a hell of a Klobuchar.
That's right.
As well.
She's great.
She's great. And I, of course, know her brother Dan, they look exactly like one another.
Really?
Oh,
they look all alike.
If you never met Dan Dratch, you
no.
probably
I met him a couple times.
Dan Dratch. They just look exactly.
I think it was a guest on the
same.
podcast long time, years ago, possibly.
Yeah, before me.
Yeah. Dratch
sure.
was a writer on the Man Show and writes on many things now. But boy, do they
favor each other.
Yeah, they just look. They just look the same. Anyway. Good. I'm glad. I like it when people hang out. I like it. This is a business where people slough off and you never hear from them again. So women, they turn 50 and it's like, all right, Hollywood's done with you.
Right.
I like when people hang out and keep making product.
That's right.
All right, let's bring it home, baby girl.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. I can't do my job unless people are cheering.
Gina.
That was the news with